We begin with sad news. Portland Trailblazers owner Paul Allen has died at the age of 65. Mr. Allen recently tweeted that his non-Hodgkin's lymphoma had returned. He was the co-founder of Microsoft and heavily involved in sports ownership, from the Blazers to the Seattle Seahawks to the Seattle Sounders. His sister Jody issued a statement saying, quote, "My brother was a remarkable individual on every level. While most knew Paul was a technological philanthropist, for us, he was a much-loved brother and uncle, an exceptional friend," end quote. And Paul Allen, as you can see, the many ownership opportunities that he had, and just a terrible, terrible loss as we come to you live here on Game Time. And Adam Silver released a statement saying Paul was the ultimate trailblazer in business, philanthropy, and in sports. As one of the longest tenured owners in the NBA, Paul brought a sense of discovery and vision to every league matter, large and small. He was generous with his time on committee work, and his expertise helped lay the foundation for the league's growth internationally and our embrace of new technologies. He was a valued voice who challenged assumptions and conventional wisdom, and one we will deeply miss as we start a new season without him. Our condolences go to his family, friends, and the entire Trailblazers organization. And we are joined by Kevin McHale and Isaiah Thomas. Gentlemen, how will you remember the late, great Paul Allen?
I mean, there's so many good things that he's done with his life. I mean, Microsoft has touched everybody's life in the world, and he being one of the co-founders. And then when you look at what he was able to do locally for two cities, in terms of Seattle with the Seahawks, in terms of the Trailblazers, the entertainment that he provided, the life that he led, and the life that he's allowed a lot of us to lead, you know, from Microsoft to sports and entertainment. I mean, he truly was a trailblazer, a pioneer, and a visionary for all of us.
Yeah, I remember he was the first of the Silicon Valley guys to kind of come in young. Heck, years ago, he's had that team for almost 30 years, I think. And he was a young man when he bought the team. I remember thinking saying, how can a young guy like that have that much money? But, you know, he built the Rose Garden out there. He just did a lot of stuff for Portland, the Portland Trailblazers. And he's going to be missed. Just a sad day. 65 is just way too young.
Well said, Kevin. Well said. And Clippers owner and former Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer, obviously very close to Mr. Allen, tweeted, "Paul was a truly wonderful, bright, and inspiring person and a great friend. I will miss him." And now joining us on the phone is former Trailblazers player from 1998 to 2001, and of course current NBA TV analyst Greg Anthony. And GA, first of all, condolences to you and the family and friends of Paul Allen.
Yeah, it really is a sad day for the Trailblazer family, and just hearing Kevin and Isaiah touch upon, you know, obviously what he was able to be a part of in building Microsoft. But, you know, I know a few billionaires, but I don't know anybody any more humble than Paul Allen was. Gracious with his time, you know, never was about him. It was always about the organization, from my standpoint, being the Trailblazers. Not only did he spare no expense monetarily, but really spared no expense in terms of his commitment to the franchise and to the city of Portland. Tremendously sad to have him pass at the ripe young age of 65. Just a lot of wonderful memories. We were fortunate enough. We used to practice every year at his home in Seattle, just outside of Seattle, when we go up and play the Sonics. And what an amazing treat. He basically built a replica of our practice facility at his home. And so we'd go there every year for a practice, and that's when you really kind of got to spend time with him where his guard was down, and, you know, we could ask him questions. And, you know, I was just in shock when I heard the news today. It is, you know, so much excitement and anticipation for the upcoming season throughout the league, obviously in Portland as well, and to have something like this transpire, it's truly sad, but definitely we have to appreciate all that he's meant, not just for the Blazers, but for the NBA as a whole. If you think about the growth our league has experienced since he's become a part of the league, it's pretty monumental, and he is one of those trailblazers, no pun intended, and his legacy will live for a very long time.
GA, how will the history books define Mr. Allen's ownership of the Portland Trail Blazers?
I think he was class personified. If you think about it, he was one of the first guys. I remember when I got there, you know, private travel was kind of coming into vogue. It was becoming more popular. And what happens is, you know, the players talk, right? Like, you know, what kind of practice facility you guys have and what plane are you on? And, you know, Mr. Allen we had a 757. That's the team plane. Okay, so it was a pretty cool experience. And every now and then our plane, you know, you'd have to have service or whatever. And we get to use his 757, which was decked out completely different. Ours was nice, don't get me wrong, but his was incredible. But he was just a gracious, generous human being. And you heard the statement from Adam Silver, from the commissioner. You know, a lot of the things he did, a lot of our fans, while they get to appreciate it now, had no idea that he was at the forefront in terms of the technological advances, that he really provided a lot of guidance to the commissioner and to the league office on. That guy was incredible. If you think about it, you know, we have a lot of faces of our league. Mark Cuban stands out. Steve Ballmer, his former partner, is one of those guys, you know, that they're kind of out there. He was the exact opposite. He was really behind the scenes, never wanted any attention, really wanted it to be about the team, the organization, the players, the city. And I think that's something that will even be more so appreciated in his absence. Just an incredible person, you know. And again, in a time where it's harder to have such a successful franchise in a smaller market, the Blazers have thrived. They prospered, and a lot of that is because of his belief in that team and in that city.
G.A., thank you so much for the time. It's obviously a tremendously difficult day, but we appreciate it, and we will talk to you very soon.
All right, guys. Take care.
Over the course of several decades, Paul Allen gave more than $2 billion to a wide range of interests, including ocean health, homelessness, and advancing scientific research. Today, he is gone at the age of 65. He will be dearly missed. Here are the winning percentages for dynastic teams who won 3 titles in a 4-season span, and the Warriors lead the way at an 808 clip over the past 4 seasons. Pretty impressive to lead a list featuring the Big Three Celtics with my man Kevin McHale, the Showtime Lakers, and the Jordan Pippen Bulls. And this season is another chance for 29 teams to try and put a dent into the Golden State Warriors dynasty. Let the chess match begin.
The king, the sovereign, the ruler of the realm. In front of the entire watching world, a king confirmed his eternal place in history. And ascending to the throne for a 3rd time in his reign.
The Golden State Warriors champions once again.
This is his dominion now, and it is indeed noble company he is keeping. And yet his rule still stretches far off into the distance with no setting sun in sight.
The one-time darlings are now a dynasty.
Well before this royal run began, there were a series of quietly brilliant machinations that charted the course to this worldly domination.
Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green.
Unseen fingers at the controls, thinking 3 moves ahead. And now, 3 championships later, fruits of their strategic labor, assembling like jewels in a king's crown.
Back to back! Crazy in here. It's crazy in here.
The manic quality this new up and down game demands. A synergistic symphony of controlled chaos defines this unprecedented success.
Oh, it's Dollar with a facial.
The moves an opponent sees coming, but cannot answer for. And the moves that appear out of the shadows that no one ever expects.
I'm super excited, man. I'm pumped to get started.
And now, a new battle for supremacy commences. 29 pursuers covet the honor the crown bestows. Hungry newcomers are now closing in, focused, determined, intent on checking this march to greatness and stealing the crown for their own. All dynasties have an arc, a beginning, middle, and end. But what if you redefine the arc? What if you reinvent the arc? What if you own the arc?
With the talent they've accumulated, they're on the verge of a dynasty.
This is the moment the realization washes over his rivals. The king has fully remade the game in his image, as his adversaries are swept one by one off the board. This is the machine in motion. This is the engine churning towards new horizons, all the while chasing the echoes of glory
And the Pelic have done it again.
from ancestral monarchies of long ago. It's a regal endeavor, a sacred covenant all the greats share in. The chance to stake a claim on hallowed ground. The chance to stake a claim to a place in history.
And Tuesday is ring night on TNT as the Warriors will get their championship rings before running with the Thunder at 10:30 Eastern. The TNT doubleheader and the season starts with the 76ers and Celtics in a rematch of last year's second-round playoff series at 8 Eastern. Steve Kerr is an 8-time champion, 5 as a player, 3 as Warriors coach, and Sunday he spoke with the media about the state of his team.
Obviously, we've got a lot of continuity with our core group. Staying healthy is going to be huge. It always is. And then bringing these young guys along is going to be important. So, like I said, we'll start it up Tuesday night and see where we are and go from there.
As one who's played with dynasties, and in the vein of that line of questioning, given the economics of the game, is there any thought that maybe this is like maybe the last go around with this core group?
No.
No?
So Coach Kerr doesn't want to give any thought into that, but we can give thought to that. Rick Kamla, Isaiah Thomas, Kevin McHale, and you heard in the piece, very dramatic, by the way, very well done, about the arc. Okay, so where are the Warriors here? Are they at the top of the arc? Is the arc starting to come down? Are they at the beginning of the arc? Where are they right now?
I would say it's starting to come down. I mean, I went to the finals 3 straight years, and Kevin, you went there like
4.
8 times.
Yeah, a few times. Yeah.
And
4 straight years.
But you never know, and I think for he and I sitting here, for us it was injuries, that got us at the end. But I remember when you guys were right in the middle of your run. You got the #1 pick and you got Len Bias, right? And we thought, no one's ever going to beat the Celtics. So, the unknown is really what comes back to get you and bite you. You can prepare for everything, but the unintended consequences, those are the things that kind of get you and bite you, and the things that you're just not prepared for. Injury, in your case, death, things happen.
Yeah, no question. I think they're probably on the downside of the arc. I really do, because they've had a good run. Like with the Celtics, the run that they were on, that was like a 1980 through 87, right around there. That's a long run of being in the finals and winning, but that came to an end through injuries. In today's game, they could, the salary cap and a lot of different issues. I mean, it could come to an end by couple free agents leaving. I mean, say KD wants to go, maybe Klay Thompson or wherever. A lot of things happen, but it's all of the stuff that you don't know what's going to happen. Injuries, like you said, Zeke. Or there's sometimes just a team gets on fire. You're out there playing really well, and all of a sudden some team catches fire. I know the '83 Philly team for us, with Moses, they just were like a team of destiny. They stayed healthy. Everybody else was getting hurt. But they just got on a run, and you weren't going to beat them. So there's a lot of stuff that happens inside of this. But right now, going into the season, I'd be hard. I could not say there's one team I can look at, say they can beat Golden State. Yeah.
Including the Minnesota Timberwolves, who right now are the team dealing with the most drama entering the season because Jimmy Butler wants out, and they haven't been able to work out a trade yet. And per The Athletic, in terms of the Jimmy Butler situation, Wolves owner Glenn Taylor met with Butler on Sunday morning. They came to an agreement. The team will try to trade him, but Butler has to be a good teammate and play hard. And here's Butler following Sunday's practice.
They want me to go out here and hoop. Go out here and hoop to the best of my abilities, make sure I'm healthy. compete because that's what I love to do, go up against the best because that's what I love to do, and do it for the guys that's in the same jerseys as me.
Jimmy, can you tell us why you wanted to be traded?
No, I cannot.
Do you still want to be traded?
Maybe. I'm going to be passive-aggressive like everybody else is here.
Do you expect to be traded?
Maybe.
Okay.
There you go.
Can you play through
Maybe.
any frustrations that are coming from your situation?
Me?
Yeah.
I go out there and play no matter what. I love the game of basketball. In between those lines, everything is pure. Like, whatever's bothering me, whenever I step onto that floor, whether I'm working out by myself, I'm playing 3-on-3, 1-on-1, it's basketball. Like, I don't think about anything except for getting a stop, scoring a basket, getting it, whatever it may be. I just want to win. So whenever I'm out there, it's all about winning.
So if you are with this team as the season starts and you're playing and things go remarkably well to start, could you see your perception of this franchise change from ball?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to dribble tomorrow. So I can't tell you what's going to happen in the near future. I don't know. All I know is I'm going to go home, eat me some lunch, make me my own latte because I'm good at it, and enjoy the rest of my day.
Is it a small group of teams that you'd want to be traded to, or a big group? Does it matter much?
Why y'all so focused on this trading stuff? We got a game in, 3 days, 2 days?
Just tell us that you want to be here for the year.
No, tell me your social security number. Like, there's just things you don't want to say.
Does it strike you guys? That was odd right there. That was very odd because there is a controversy going on, but Jimmy didn't really want to talk about it. And Kevin, former coach, former general manager of the Minnesota Timberwolves, you worked with and had a great relationship with Glenn Taylor. You know, you can categorize it the way you want, but at this point, what is your read on Glenn Taylor, Tom Thibodeau, Jimmy Butler v. the world?
Well, that was an odd interview, by the way. I'm going to look at this thing, first of all, from a player standpoint. If I'm a fellow player with him, he doesn't come to practice for 3 weeks, comes in one day, goes off and starts yelling at everybody. I'm like looking at him. I'm not, as a player, I'm not going to put up with that. I'm looking and say, that's not going to fly. You're out of here, man. And so as a player, I'd be really disappointed. And then he's going to call a players-only meeting the next day. He hasn't been around, no training camp, no nothing. I'd have been in that meeting long enough to tell him to kiss my backside and then walked out. Because I'm like, nah, man, if you want to be part of this team, then you got to be part of this team. So looking at it from a player standpoint, I'd be really upset if my teammate did that. From a coaching standpoint, like, there's no way I would start him and play him if I was a coach. I would just say, no, you're going to have to earn that. And earning that I don't care what you did last year. You got to earn that again this year. Every year you start anew. Every year, I tell you, I played with one of the best players who ever played the game, Larry Bird. There would be some poor rookie from some school, and Larry would just hammer the guy. And I look at Larry, I go, what are you doing? He goes, I don't want that guy to even think he's going to get 1 minute of my time. And I mean, so every year you start anew. So if you're a coach, you're like, no. These guys that have been here, this group, they're going to start. You're going to come off the bench. You're going to do whatever. As a GM, I'm trying to trade him, right? Like, I'm looking at this thing saying, if it's not going to work, if a guy tells you I'm a free agent and I'm going to leave in a year, you got to trade him. Otherwise, you just got to say, you know what, I'll use that cap space. Okay, if I want to use the cap space. But they're already tied up with cap space by giving it to Wiggins and Towns. So they're in a funny situation. Getting back to your original question with Glenn, I think Glenn would probably like to have this thing move, get some pieces, and build around Karl Anthony Towns and just see what type of team you can be building around Karl Anthony Towns. But to sum things up, that's a three-ring circus, man. There's a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah. But I mean, you've said a lot, and you've definitely, said a lot of things that I want to say. And I just go back to the point that you was making about being a teammate, right? And as a teammate, I would want him. We all understand the contract. We all understand the money.
Yeah.
But show up and be a good teammate.
Yeah.
And it goes all the way back to grade school and high school. That was the first thing we were taught, right?
Yep.
It's not about how good you can play. It's not about how many points you can score. It's not about how many rebounds you get. It really is the first prerequisite of being on a team is, can you be a good teammate?
Yeah.
Can you be a good teammate that we can trust and that we can go out here and execute a game plan? Or are you going to be the type of teammate that goes out and execute your game plan? You look good, you get your numbers, right?
Yep.
You get your numbers, you look good, and the rest of the team you're saying sucks.
Mm-hmm.
To me right now, the position that Butler has put his teammates in is a unbelievable bad situation, because now the teammates every single night has got to answer for you when you can stand up in front of the camera and be passive aggressive and say maybe, maybe. But if you really stand up, then stand up. And the other thing I have to say is, you know, we always thought that Tibbs was the tough, no-nonsense guy.
Yeah.
And now for Tibbs to be in this position with Butler, a guy that he went out and vouched for, wanted to bring to his team, now it looks like Tibbs is not the disciplinarian that we thought he was, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, there are soap operas in the NBA, and then there is what's going on in Minnesota right now. But it is what it is, and we'll be following it here on Game Time throughout the season. And here's what's ahead on Game Time. Kyrie Irving is healthy and happy in Boston as the Celtics have lofty goals entering this season. Also, Kevin and Isaiah will break down the next step for Philly's dynamic duo of Simmons and Embiid, and we will preview the season for LeBron and the Lakers.